Okay, great and glorious. Nick Dutch here yet again. Just answering some of the questions here as part of the question and answer type series thing. The first one here is by Violet Cosmonaut. Can you name a moment in your life that was absolutely life-changing, and why did it change your life? Well, I think that every single small moment in your life does change your life anyway. Anything from a TV show that you watch to the supermarket running out of your favorite food, little things like that do affect you. But something that was totally life-changing in my case was when I began to recover from drink and drugs, and it was life-changing because I stopped being a very evil, twisted, nasty danger to society. That experience demonstrated to me that there is something in the Christian idea of redemption and repentance. But there's nothing to say that you actually have to be a Christian to accept that. I mean, within Christianity, there's a number of different traditions. There's, as I mentioned, the tradition of repentance. Then there's other traditions such as the tradition of devotion, and the tradition of devotion is the one which is most popular because people are thick and want to stay thick and want to simplify their ideas and want to do something which is easier rather than, you know, personal growth, self-criticism, and turning around and looking at themselves in the mirror and thinking, oh my God, maybe I'm wrong, rather than thinking, because I worship Jesus, therefore I'm right. I would say that on the basis of my experience, that a good form of Christianity would probably be either Puritanism or more properly the Quaker religion, because that's based upon sharing, communication, and allowing change to happen, as well as reverence for a supernatural entity. So that seems to be much more intelligent and rational than a lot of the Christianity which is sold in the spiritual supermarkets these days. Second question. Can you tell us anything about the pineal gland? I could do an entire video purely about different parts of the brain. What about its psychic and spiritual functions? Do we actually know? Well, basically not. What we can say is that if we learn how to do meditation well enough, we can concentrate on different states of mind, different emotions. We can use visualization in different ways to stimulate, let's say, the release of hormones, which can have an effect upon body and mind. And also other people do try and create emotional responses in us through political presentations, religious presentations, and the rest of it. So the endocrine system is something which can be manipulated psychologically, but knowing that is not necessarily a bad thing so long as you become the person who takes control of it. Have you had any astral projection experiences? Yes, loads. I dedicated myself to the methods within Sylvan Muldoon and Hereward Carrington's book, The Projection of the Astral Body, for a period of 2 years, and managed to have a full, complete exteriorization. And I still try and practice different, either remote viewing or astral projection experiences on a regular basis, just to keep the practice up. But again, you still got to disbelieve your experiences so that you can see yourself in a rational light, rather than just telling everyone, you know, what a wonderful time you had out of your head the last night, and they'll all think you're on drugs and insane and all the rest of it. So you got to be careful what you say to people. The rest of this says, and also I've been having strange dreams about things I wouldn't normally see, and then I experienced these things the next day. This began after an experience that was similar to what people call OBEs, namely out-of-body experiences. Is there any way I can control this or strengthen this ability? Well, that's hard to say, because I had the same thing. I didn't get involved in reading tarot because I was a bit of a neurotic, screwed-up adolescent who wanted to do silly occult stuff. I'd had solid experiences which I wanted to learn to control. As far as can you control it, you can learn to focus your attention on different things through time and space and try and access information about those things through meditation. That's something you can do. And again, it's all down to practice, because this is still a very experiential, experimental art. There are some people who say that, yeah, they can solidly do this, or they can 100% reliably do that, but those people are mentally ill. They're psychotic. They've got things wrong with them, you know. I mean, it's a great question you got there. How can I control this? go back to meditation and do a lot of meditation. See if you can control your senses of perception and affect it in terms of time and space. And it will take practice. Try and get your head over the little sort of intellectual loopholes and intellectual gymnastics that you have to start trying to imagine yourself and feeling and experiencing something which is not within your immediate vicinity. Which isn't easy, but it takes practice, and it takes, just carry on fucking about with it one day at a time. Just another one here says, Demon Covenants, he says he asked me something to do with scrying. But he's sure that I will read it, and I won't bother repeating it. If you want to do scrying, again, that's essentially a meditative, remote viewing type exercise. Yes, it is important to have an obsession with various different occult phenomena, because then that can give you the motivation, give you the inner motivation, the subconscious motivation to actually try and experience these things more. Sylvan Muldoon and Henry Carrington spoke about the passive will, which is not the active will you have during your waking consciousness. But like when it's dead of night, you wake up at 2 in the morning and you suddenly feel angry about your boss, and you're going through your head about, you want to kill the bastard and all the rest of it. But when the next day comes, you go into the office and you don't kill your boss. You're as quiet as a lamb, because it was the passive will that was active during the night, and it's the active will that's active during the day. And so if you can use this subconscious frustration to try and create the phenomenon, it's more likely to occur, because Sylvan Muldoon and Henry Carrington suggested that you can train yourself to use that nocturnal passive will to try and make something happen. And then, of course, when you fall asleep, the body goes numb, then you can start scrying on the astral or doing a remote viewing. Yeah, and Demon Covenant also says, but I do have a question, and it's about the talk of stealing Christianity, or some of the beliefs and ideas without the dogmatic standpoints. Well, the bottom line is, if you don't like the dogmatic standpoints, don't touch the dogmatic standpoints. And you can do, most of ceremony these days, if I've understood it, is based upon the Wiccan circle casting, which was taken from the Golden Dawn and ceremonial magic. So incorporate that into your own ways of doing things. And if you feel comfortable with the Christ entity, then set up a Christian altar, but just do other things like the lesser ritual of pentagram around yourself and invoke the 4 elements. Actually, Transcendental Magic by Eliphas Levi has got rather long quasi-Kabbalistic style prayers, which are related to the invocation of the 4 elemental forces, so you might want to have a look at that as well. Alright, so let's see what else. I'm just pointing the camera at the screen so I can read the time on the screen at the back of the camera, so I know how long I've got. Right, the philosophy towards spirituality and doing something positive with it. Well, if you want to do something positive with Christian style ritual, then basically go for it. Remember, everything is to do with meditation and trying to meditate raise energy out of the ground or make it descend from the sky, and then try and send it with breath or with an utterance. When I was doing my first successful ritual, I did lots and lots and lots of chanting, calmly, focused, enjoying it, just getting pleasure from it. And at the crescendo, I then made my wish, and I then laughed it off afterwards. So you can still do that within any religious framework. It doesn't have to be pagan or satanic or chaotic. If you feel comfortable with Christianity, do it with Christianity. It's your way of doing things, so enjoy it, Anyway, that's all for now. I'll do another video shortly.